Hello everyone, welcome to the class once again. After learning the concepts of work energy in power, I believe that you will be ready to understand the question based upon JEE Advanced pattern. Now in JEE Advanced, there are mixed questions that has been asked. You will be getting single choice correct, you will be getting more than one option correct, you will be getting assertion reason, you will be getting integer type questions. In integer type, you have to choose one integer, you have to actually bubble the right integer which is actually matching with the right answer. Now in more than one choice, you have to answer with each option that is correct. That is, suppose let's say two options is correct. If you mark both the option, you'll be getting full marks. If you answer only one, you'll be getting 1 mark only for that one option which you have ticked as the right answer. And never ever attempt to actually take any guess in more than one choice correct, because that will actually take your entire marks. Now next, first of all, let's start the JEE Advanced practice with this exercise. The first question of the day is, the work done on a particle of mass m by a force F k bracket x divided by x square plus y square power 3 by 2 I cap plus y divided by x square plus y square power 3 by 2 j cap, k being a constant of appropriate dimension. So that will be actually dependent upon that force and the distance that we can see x and y. It will depend on that only, its dimension. When the particle is taken from the point a comma 0 to the point 0 comma a along a circular path of radius a about the origin in the xy plane. So we have to find out what is the work done. We have to find out what is the work done while it's taken from a comma 0 to 0 comma a. You see here the option number A is 2k pi by a, B is k pi by a, C is k pi by 2a, and D is 0. Let me show you the path of the particle. I believe that you have understood with the question statement what that is saying. It's saying that we have to find out work done, the force is given, and the path is given. It's taken from the point a comma 0 to the point 0 comma a. If I draw the path, a comma 0 will be lying somewhere here. This will be a comma 0, and this will be, if I say, this will be 0 comma a. Now you see here, if I show you, because it is taken along a circular path, so I am drawing a circular arc here. It has been taken along this path. Because the radius is also confined and that is given as a, so we have to mark this as the radius. That is what has been provided to us. Now you see here, while it is taken across this path, along this path, while it is taken, the force acting on this path, that is given as k, then a bracket, and then we have x upon x square plus y square power 3 by 2. And I cap plus, next thing you see, y divided by x square plus y square power 3 by 2. So let me show you that this is y divided by x square plus y square power 3 by 2 j cap. This is what that has been provided to us. Next you see here, this is that has been provided. We need to find out, as it is moved from a comma 0 to 0 comma a, what is the work done. Now you see here, at any point on its path, if I, let's say the particle is here, the particle is at point P here, if I mark this as vector r, that is the position vector of the particle, and if it is taken through a small distance, we need to find out what is the work done. First of all, along what direction force is acting? Let's try to find out that. The force is acting along a direction that is given by this. Now you see here, if I take out x square plus y square power 3 by 2 as common and let us take it outside, I'll be having F is equal to k divided by x square plus y square power 3 by 2, and here I'll be having xi cap plus yj cap. Xi cap plus yj cap. This is the value of force. Now you try to understand, first of all, this force along what direction that it is acting. You see here, xi cap plus yj cap, you try to observe that will be directed somewhere here. This will be the direction of the force. You see the displacement is along this direction. That is actually perpendicular to the direction of force. Need not to worry about this. This is a constant term. Worry about this direction term. Worry about this. Because x square plus y square power 3 by 2, that you can easily write it as the magnitude r. If I have written that, that's magnitude r. We can also write this force as k upon the magnitude r, because this is r cube it will become, and this will be xi cap plus yj cap, or to write it more simple way, we can write kr cube, and here we will be having r vector. The path is circular, the force is acting along this line. This is the normal at any point. This and the particle is moving along this tangential path. Hence, both force and displacement will be perpendicular at each point of its motion. And we know that when force and displacement are perpendicular, the work done will be zero. I believe that you can write that force and displacement both are perpendicular to each other, so work done will be zero in this case. Now, I believe that you would have understood, although the question seems complicated, but the answer that is simple. If you know simple logic, how to frame it out, you can mark the right answer, that is option number D. You need not to get confused with all this given numerical with all these options. Option number D, that is 0, because both force and the displacement will be perpendicular at every point along its path. It was a good question. It was asked in previous year JEE advanced question. It is a good question. So this will be very much helpful for you all. Next question of the day we have: a particle of mass m is moving in a circular path of constant radius r such that its centripetal acceleration AC is varying with time t as AC equals to k square RT square. So we got this AC as equal to k square RT square, where k is a constant. The power delivered to the particle by the force acting on it is A, 2 pi mk square r square, B, m k square RT r square t, C, m k power 4 r2 square t power 5 by 3, and D 0. Now see, once again, try to understand the statement of the question. Particle of mass m moving in a circular path. This is important. Circular path, that means the acceleration that will be acting, that is centripetal acceleration, and that is varying with time as AC equals to k square RT square. So I am writing the centripetal acceleration is k square RT square. K will be constant, the power delivered, and the radius is r, time t is t that has been used here. The power delivered to the particle by the force acting on it is. So we need to know the force, we need to know the velocity, then we can find force equal to power equals to force into velocity, that dot product of force and velocity, that is the power. Now see here, we know that centripetal acceleration is v square by r, quite obvious. So from here, v square will be k square r square t square. So v comes out to be k RT. First thing we got how v can be obtained, that will be equal to k RT. This is the velocity of the body. Next, you see, we need to find out the power delivered to the particle by the force acting on it is. Force will be what? Force will be actually equal to mass into acceleration. So first of all, we got this v. So acceleration, no, don't use this. This is centripetal acceleration. You need to find out the tangential acceleration. That will be dv by dt. That comes out to be k into r. This is the tangential acceleration. The power delivered is equal to force into velocity, mass into tangential acceleration into velocity. Now mass is what? That will be using as m. Tangential acceleration is kr, and velocity v that we need to use, that is krt. krt, just you see, this will be equal to m k square r square t. M k square r square t. Let's see here, the option that is matching, that is option number B, m k square r square t. The beauty of this question is that you have to approach stepwise. You have to think logically how to approach. This is how JEE advanced question will be asked in your examination. The examiner is checking how in depth you have actually done the practice, and how in depth knowledge you have. That is what will be tested in your examination. Now, with such good questions, let's proceed with the next question of the day. I believe that all this question would be of great help to you all. Let's go ahead with the next question of the class. Third question: if a machine is lubricated with oil. Again, this is a previous year question. We need to see that the mechanical advantage of the machine increases. B, the mechanical efficiency of the machine increases. C, we have both its mechanical advantage and efficiency increases. D, its efficiency increases but its mechanical advantage decreases. First of all, I need to tell you all what do we mean by mechanical advantage, mechanical efficiency. Mechanical efficiency will increase if for the given input you are getting more output. And more output you can obtain only when the loss due to all the frictional forces and all the non-conservative forces that are acting, that is actually reduced. When you use lubricant, you are actually decreasing the loss in potential energy. So efficiency will increase. So I'm writing first, with use of lubrication, efficiency increases. But it is talking about, will you get mechanical advantage? No mechanical advantage you will be obtaining. Only efficiency will be improved because you are actually reducing the loss in energy. So only option, mechanical efficiency of the machine increases. Yes, that's the right answer. Mechanical advantage of the machine increases? No. Don't comment on mechanical advantage. Both its mechanical advantage and efficiency increases? No. Its efficiency increases, but its mechanical advantage decreases. Decreases, it's given. It will not decrease also. Leave it same. Only option number that matches to the right answer, that is option B. Mechanical efficiency of the machine increases. That's the right answer. Next one we have, fourth one. A wind power generator converts wind energy into electrical energy. You must be knowing wind vanes, that is converting wind energy into electrical energy. Assume that the generator converts a fixed fraction of the wind energy intercepted by its blade into electric energy. For wind speed V, the electric power output will be proportional to A V, B V square, C V cube, D V power 4. Now you see here, first of all, it says that some part of the wind energy is converted into electric energy. And if I talk about the force actually that will be acting on the blades, that will be given. We know that force is equal to change in momentum, dP by dt. Now you see here, I can write this as d by dt mass into velocity. We can write it in this way. Velocity that is fixed for the wind speed, velocity is fixed. Now, the variable that we need to use, that is actually mass, because wind is running towards the blade. The variable will be used, that will be actually mass. So we'll be using V as constant outside, that will be dm by dt. This is quite crucial why we have used this. You should know why I have used dm by dt, because mass is continuously proceeding towards the blade. So that will actually change, so we have to use dm by dt. Now you see here, as it proceeds, the mass can be given as density into volume. So we can write this as V into d by dt density into volume. Not a problem, quite easy. Next step after this, density is also constant of the air, of the wind. Take it outside, you will be obtaining F will be equal to rho into V and d by dt of volume. Can I write volume into A into X? Area, that suppose any cross section wind is moving, proceeding towards the blade. So any area you can consider, any cross section area you can consider, and the linear distance that it has traversed, that is X. So A into X, rho into V. Now you see A will be constant, dx by dt will be given as again V. See what you are going to get. You will be obtaining rho A V square. Dx by dt will be V, so that will multiply, you will get rho A V square, that is the force. It's asking for wind speed V, the electric power output will be proportional to. Power we need to talk about. Power you see here. Power is equal to force into speed or velocity, dot product of force and velocity. It will turn out to be rho A V square into V. So rho A V cube. So we are concerned about how power is related to speed. So that is proportional to cubic function of speed or velocity. So let's see the option. Option number C that matches to our right response, that is V cube. This is how you have to approach. With practice, you will understand how to solve such questions for your preparation. Now let's go ahead with the next one. The next question of the day we have, after question number 4, question number 5. Two masses of 1 gram and 4 gram are moving with equal kinetic energy. These are two masses, 1 gram and 4 gram are moving with equal kinetic energies. The ratio of the magnitudes of their momenta is, we are talking about the momentum, that is momenta in plural, 4:1, root 2:1, 1:2, 1:16. I believe that you must be remembering about the momentum. Momentum is given as under root 2mk. Kinetic energy is same, mass are different. So P1 by P2 will be equal to under root 2 m1k under root 2 m2k. You can easily make it out. Now you see here, this will turn out to be under root of m1 by m2. Kinetic energy is same, so that's why I have used this. Masses are in proportion 1 gram and 4 gram. So keep here 1 by 4. So the response you will be getting 1 by 2, that is 1:2. Clearly the ratio will be 1:2. Let's check the answer. The option number C matches with our response. That is 1:2 is the right answer. This is how the momenta of both the bodies are related. Easy question. You have to just put up the formula, and such question can also be asked in your JEE Advanced problem. Let's proceed with the next question. After 5, 6, we have 6 to 7, 2 questions, we have more than one choice correct. A particle is acted upon by force of constant magnitude, which is always perpendicular to the velocity of the particle. The motion of the particle takes place in a plane. It follows that. Understand, read this statement. The statement has all the hidden information. Particle is acted upon by force of constant magnitude. Force is constant, which is always perpendicular to the velocity of the particle. Quite simple. If force is constant, that means we are talking about a body moving along a circle in a plane, and this circle, the body which is performing this circular motion, it is moving with a fixed speed. The motion of the particle takes place in a plane. It follows that its velocity is constant. No, it is moving along circle. Velocity cannot be constant. No, its acceleration is constant. Acceleration is constant. No, you will be having centripetal acceleration working towards the center. That will change its direction. This is also incorrect. Its kinetic energy constant. The speed is constant. I told you. So kinetic energy will be constant. Yes. It moves in a circular path. Yes. So C and D are the right option that I have marked. If you want to understand, this is the path of the particle. It will be moving along a circular path, and here the speed will remain the same. Centripetal acceleration, that will be changing its direction always. So we cannot say acceleration is constant. Velocity is also not constant, changing its direction as always. For different points, different velocities we have. So the only thing that we can say, kinetic energy will remain constant. Yes, that's a scalar quantity. Speed is constant. Kinetic energy will remain constant. C is correct. It moves in a circular path. It's quite obvious from the given information. I believe that this is clear to you all. Rest, let's go to the next question. Question number 7. Block of mass 2 kg is hanging over a smooth and light pulley through a light string. The other end of the string is pulled by a constant force F is equal to 40 Newton. The kinetic energy of the particle increases 40 joule in a given interval of time. Then we have to choose which of the option actually matches with the right answer. G is given 10 meter per square second. Tension in the string is 40 Newton. We need to check. I have marked it correct, but first we need to check. Displacement of the block in the given interval of time is 2 meter. We need to check this. Work done by gravity is minus 20 joule. Work done by tension is 80 joule. Let's try to find it out. First of all, I'll make the diagram, how it is actually constructed. We have a pulley, and then we have a block that is attached to it. It's given that its mass that has been provided, that is 2 kg. Now you see here, this is a string and there's a force that is acting on this, that is equal to 40 joule. Sorry, that is equal to, you see the other end of the string is pulled by a constant force 40 Newton. Now see, if it is pulled by a force of 40 Newton, this same 40 Newton will be acting everywhere. The tension T, which will be existing here, that will be 40 Newton, quite obvious. Now if I talk about this mass, its free body diagram will look something like this. This is the mass M, 2 kg, its mg force will be acting along the downward direction, F 40 Newton acts along the upward direction. Now you see here, it says that the kinetic energy of the particle increases 40 joule in given interval of time. That has been provided to us. The kinetic energy is increased by 40 joule. You see the net force that is acting 40 Newton. This mg will turn out to be 2 into 10, 20 Newton. So F net that will be acting along the upward direction, you can make out that will be 40 minus 20 Newton, that will be 20 Newton, the net force that will be acting. Now you see here, due to this net force, the body is displaced along the upward direction, and the displacement is that has been provided as, let's say, that is S. So we need to find out that particle increases 40 joule in a given interval of time. No, nothing has been provided about the displacement. And we need to find out tension. We need to find out, not tension, the string is 40 Newton. No, that is not 40 Newton, because, oh yeah, that is 40 Newton. That's correct. That is 40 Newton that we have seen here. So tension in the string will remain 40 Newton. That is true. So option number A is true. Option B, displacement of the block in the given interval of time is 2 meter. Let's check. We know that work done will be equal to change in kinetic energy by net force, that is equal to force into displacement is equal to its energy increases by 40 joule. You see here, the kinetic energy of the particle increases 40 joule in a given interval of time. The kinetic energy of the particle increases because we know net work done by all the forces is actually equal to increasing kinetic energy. So by all the forces I have actually, now you must be thinking that it is increasing, its height is raised, we are not considering the potential energy. Now see, because I have taken the net force of this also and this also, we need to only consider the kinetic energy. So F is 20, this part is in the other section, and displacement S we need to find out. So 40 joules, so S turns out to be 2 meter. That is also true. So 40 by 20, that is 2 meter. So displacement of the particle in the given interval of time is 2 meter. Yes, that's it. Right answer. C, work done by gravity is minus 20 joule. We have not evaluated it. The gravitational force that is acting, that is actually 20 Newton. Now if 20 Newton is acting downwards, the particle is raised by 2 meter. So work done by gravity will be minus 40 joule, not minus 20 joule. So this is not, this is incorrect. C is incorrect, understand. You can easily make out, if I write down the equations for the third part, work done by gravity is force due to gravity multiplied with displacement. Force due to gravity, that is actually 20 joules, and displacement is minus 2. Why? Because gravitational force is acting in the downward direction, we have taken that as positive. Displacement is along the upward direction, that has been taken as negative. Minus 40 joule. Just a minute, this is, I have written here, this joule should be here. So minus 40 joule, C is incorrect. D option, work done by tension is 80 joule. So shall we solve it? 40 Newton is acting along the upward direction, that is the tension. Displacement is 2, so 40 into 2, 80 joule. So shall I write along with the equation? Work done due to tension is tension force multiplied with displacement, 40 into 2, 80 joules. I believe that this is clear to you all how we have obtained 80 joules as the response here. So option number D is also true. So you have to circle all the 3 bubbles, that is A, B and D. These are the 3 responses that's actually true for this question. A, B, D are the correct answer. A, B, D. C is incorrect. The only option incorrect, that is C. So you have to check each of the options that would be provided in the more than one choice correct. With practice only you can gain perfection. And I also truly believe that you are also practicing questions on your own also. Next question we have integer type question. This is again one different pattern that has been asked. After single choice, more than one choice, integer type question can be asked, where you have to choose the option between 0 to 9. A particle of mass 0.2 kg is moving in one dimension under a force that delivers a constant power of 0.5 watt to the particle. If the initial speed in meter per second of the particle is 0, the speed in meter per second after 5 seconds is. That has been provided to us. Now see here, we know that it's given that under a constant power of 5 watt, we know that power is equal to W by T, W is equal to P into T. Now work done will be equal to change in kinetic energy. half mv square is equal to p into t. This is what we need to find out. Mass is provided. V we need to evaluate. You see here the speed in meter per second after 5 seconds. That will turn out to be v square is equal to 2pt divided by m. 2, the value of power is 0.5, so I am substituting 0.5, time t is 5 seconds, and then we have mass that will be given as 0.2. So easily you can see how to solve it. You will be seeing that this point can be moved out, this 2 and 2 cancels out. You will get this as 5 into 5, 25. So v square is 25. So v will turn out to be 5 meter per second. That is, you have to circle the bubble which is actually carrying the integer 5. So the right answer will be 5 meter per second. This is the bubble that you need to circle in your integer pattern question. Next thing, let's move ahead. With the next question of the day. It's a acceleration reason question. I believe that you can understand with this statement. A block of mass m starts moving on a rough horizontal surface with a velocity v. Rough surface, horizontal surface given, its velocity v. It stops due to friction between the block and the surface after moving through a certain distance. We know that it can stop. The surface is now tilted to an angle of 30 degree. This is 30 degree with the horizontal, and the same block is made to go up on the surface with the same initial velocity v. The decrease in the mechanical energy in the second situation is smaller than that in the first situation. Let's talk about each of the cases. In the first one, the decrease in mechanical energy will be what? In the case 1, if we talk about the decrease in mechanical energy, so I am writing change in total mechanical energy, that will be equal to half m u square. I am checking the validity of the first equation. I have not read the second statement, don't worry about it. Now in the second case 2, what we have done, you have actually raised it through certain height. Try to understand. The body, how it is moved. Now you see here, the surface is now tilted to an angle of 30 degree with the horizontal, and the same block is made to go up on the surface. It is made to go up on the surface. With the same initial velocity v. Initial velocity is v. Now you see here the decrease in the mechanical energy in the second situation. If you talk about the decrease in mechanical energy, it is going with initial speed v, it will stop. So if I talk about the take potential energy to be 0 at the bottommost point, so initial potential energy or initial total mechanical energy, then only we will be talking about the change. Total mechanical energy initial will be equal to potential energy is 0 and kinetic energy is half mv square. I have taken u here, just take it as v because that has been given as v. Now total mechanical energy after it has stopped, that is the final value of mechanical energy, that will be equal to 0 or due to kinetic energy, and it would be risen with some height. It would have actually covered also some height. So the potential energy will be mgh. Change if I talk about total mechanical energy initial minus total mechanical energy final, so delta total mechanical energy will be equal to half mv square minus mgh. This will be the change in total mechanical energy. You see that this value in the second case, that is lesser than the value in the first case. The statement says that the decrease in the mechanical energy in the second situation is smaller than that in the first situation. Yes, that's smaller, it's small. You see half mv square minus mgh is only half mv square. This decrease is smaller. So yes, we have got the decrease in mechanical energy in the second situation is smaller. So this statement is true. So I will write down the statement 1 that we have. I believe that you would have taken down this. That is true. So statement 1 is actually true. Next statement, the coefficient of friction between the block and the surface decreases with the increase in angle of inclination. Let me tell you, coefficient of friction depends upon the property of surface in contact. It will not depend upon the angle of inclination. Statement 2 is incorrect. Now, if one is true, second is incorrect, this is matches with the option number C that you have to circle. You must be knowing what option you have to choose in the case of assertion and reason. I will just give you a quick recap. A, you have to choose if both statement and reason are correct, and reason is the, statement 2 is the correct explanation of first one. 2, you have to choose when both are correct, but this is not the correct explanation. C, you have to choose when A is correct, B is false, that statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is false. D, you have to choose when statement 1 is false and statement 2 is correct. So C option matches with our assertion reason statement. So choose the option number C. Next one we have assertion reason once again. Consider a person of mass 80 kg who is climbing a ladder. In climbing up a ladder, in climbing a vertical distance of 5 meters, the contact force exerted by ladder on person's feet does 500 joule of work. Consider G equals to 10 meter per square second. Let's check the validity of the statement. Now see ladder, how it is designed. If I say this is the ladder, you will be having several steps on this ladder. Let's talk about the person who's actually trying to lift himself using this ladder. I'm just poor at drawing, but try to just understand with me what I'm trying to show you all. As he moves up, the ladder will be exerting a force on his feet along the vertical upward direction. That's quite obvious. That will be due to normal reaction. It applies the force, but the person leg has come to the next ladder. The same point is not moving regularly. This point is not taking him to the upward position. He moved his leg upward. Force applied and force moved. He reached to the second step. It's for a very negligible amount of time. These both are in contact. So work done with 0. Don't do MGH. What most of you do that has been given 4000 joule, you will take M as 80. You will take G as 10. So 80 to 10, 800. You will take H as 5. So 800 into 5, you get 4000 joule. Don't do this. So the kind of caution you have to take care, you will be thinking that work done equals to MGH. You keep up the values, you will get 8000 joule. Don't use this for this problem, because work done is the actual displacement of the point of contact of force and its product with the force. Reason, work done by a force F is defined as the dot product of force with the displacement of point of application of force. This statement is true. Understand, this statement is true. How work done is actually evaluated due to a force. It's actually defined as dot product of force with the displacement of point of application of force. This is the right point. So what we got, statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct. So I'll be writing here statement 1 false, statement 2 true. There is no point of explanation. If 1 is false, second is true, you have to choose option number D. As I told you, the statements used in assertion and reason. If statement 1 is true, the reason is, statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2, that is the reason, that is correct. So you have to choose option number D. So this was the assertion reason kind of question. In today's class, we practiced single choice, more than one choice, integer type, and even assertion reason kind of questions. This, and you know, more patterns are there. Even matrix and match also comes in JEE Advanced question, and you can also practice them also. So I believe that this class would be very much helpful for you all in solving such kind of questions. Practice more, you will gain perfection. This class would be giving you an idea of what kind of questions come in your examination and how you will solve them. So I'll meet you all in the next class. At the time, thank you everyone and wish you all the very best.